Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Now, I need your help. I need you to go to my PayPal link. I'm going to put a link in the description box below. I'm going to also throw it on here, so you could go there and donate to my channel so I could expand it. But I need to talk to you guys about the Syria bombing that President Trump ordered, and just about war and my anti-war stance in general, because it's been a while since I made a video about anti-war. And in a way, it's the most important news topic I talk about, just period, because the death and the destruction of others is really not going to improve our lives one fucking bit. Alright, so what happened a couple of days ago is that, and this is from consortiumnews.com, in that President Donald Trump on Saturday in Syria time ordered airstrikes against Syria in retaliation for an alleged chemical weapons attack last weekend outside Damascus. So there's already a red fucking flag, is that President Trump and the military don't even know for sure if it was a chemical weapons attack. And another thing is that this shit happened either last year or the year before, that there was a chemical weapons attack in Syria. So President Trump bombed Syria, and that was disputed as being a fucking lie too. So of course this is looking like it's the same bullshit. Is the deep state is calling for a chemical weapons attack, or someone's just pretending and just making that it's a false flag, and then saying it's a chemical weapon attack, so then we could go bomb them. And a few years ago, I was listening to way too much fucking NPR, so when they kept talking about, oh my gosh, there was chemical weapons attack used against the Syrian people, like in 2013, I was thinking, oh shit, maybe Obama should do something about it, because just when you just keep hearing the same old bullshit, sometimes you could accept that as facts when you probably shouldn't. But then as I kept listening to some of the other news articles and news videos that were, and news reports that are coming out, the Syrian people were saying, well, if it's a fucking normal bomb or just a chemical that's killing us, it kind of doesn't really matter, because we're getting killed or we're getting maimed and crippled anyway. So I was thinking, you know what, that they really hit on the head right there. So it may look more despicable or a little more cringeworthy to see a dead body from a chemical attack compared to a normal bomb, but when in reality it's just a different way to kill someone, and we should try to prevent our government from killing people in the first place, because they're only doing it so a few people can make a shitload of money, and then the rest of us have to suffer. The people of the United States that are paying for this stuff, and we're not getting any social programs put in place to benefit us, the people. It's also hurting the military members that are in the military, and they're getting killed or they're getting maimed and crippled, not just physically but mentally also. And of course, the civilians in all these other nations that are getting killed just indiscriminately, because our military industrial complex just got to keep churning that war machine, because just one war is not enough. They got to make sure we got multiple wars going on, and we got to keep them going forever and ever and ever. Or at least keep them going on for at least the next 2 or 3 years. And of course, it's also problematic that Britain and France, those governments are also in on it with just a war machine and making sure that we keep over toppling governments just for profits. So of course we got to make sure that a few other nations are at least backing us to make sure that the rest of the world doesn't really retaliate against us too much. But at the end of the day, it's still fucking illegal and immoral. They shouldn't be doing this at all. Okay, I'll continue right here. At a news conference later, Pentagon officials said this phase of the missile strikes against 3 so-called chemical research targets, one in the center of the Syrian capital, were completed with no additional attacks or planned. So, of course, they're probably bullshitting about the no additional attacks, because if there's any kind of response about the Syrian government or Russian government attacking us in any way, of course, we got another fucking war on our hands. So that's a big fucking disaster. Another problem is they don't even know for sure what the fuck they're bombing. They shouldn't be bombing anything if they don't know what the fuck it is. Never mind if it's actually a chemical research facility. Not to mention that we don't know exactly what happened. The government's claiming that it was a chemical weapons attack. So we can't buy any of that shit that the government's talking about. Yeah, because I'll start right here. Because Russia has vowed to shoot down incoming U.S. and allied missiles as Russian military personnel are embedded with the Syrian Arab Army at various locations in the country of Syria. Of course, this says right here also, U.S. military analysts say the U.S. wanted to avoid hitting Russian targets, but once unleashed, military action can lead to unintended consequences, which is why they shouldn't be pushing for war in the first place. And here's the key for my whole fucking rant and the center of the fucking story right here. A team of experts from the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons was on its way to Syria after accepting an invitation from the Syrian government to study soil and other samples in Douma, the Damascus suburb where the alleged attack took place. It's not clear whether the U.S.-led operation would complicate their mission, as the team was due to arrive later on Saturday. It is also not certain whether the timing of the U.S.-led attack was intended to prevent the team from gathering evidence to prove whether or not chemicals were used. The OPCW does not assess blame. They may not assess blame, but I'm going to assess blame. And a lot of other independent journalists are going to assess blame. Of course the fucking government did it to make sure that there's no evidence, or they could eliminate as much of the evidence as possible. Because they're fucking lying, and they know it, and the rest of the fucking world knows it. But since the U.S. is the biggest fucking bully on the block, no other government's really going to be able to really stand up and force our government to not unleash any more illegal attacks against other nations for bullshit reasons. Because it also goes right here that in April 2017, the U.S. fired 59 cruise missiles at a Syrian air base that Washington believed was used to carry out a chemical attack. U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis later said the U.S. did not have concrete evidence that Syria was responsible. So it's not also that we need to protest President Trump and the executive branch to force them to not launch any more attacks against Syria or any other nation over fucking nonsense. But we also need to push Congress to actually enforce their war powers and say that the president or the executive branch cannot launch any attacks without their approval. President Obama had been doing that for years and years, and it's about time for Congress to actually step up and do their fucking job.